Check this out.
Welcome to BLPA Big Show. Hockey sports, life for the adult athlete. Yeah. Powered by the Beer League Players Association.
Better follow me.
Follow us, the BLPA, on every social media outlet. Follow the crew on Twitter at Nicker Jones.
Let's get it. Here we go.
Welcome to the greatest sports show in the world. Good week, everybody. And it's actually a great week because it's Philadelphia Dex week. I'm here with my buddy Jason. Jason, what's going on?
What up, Nick?
Not much, just minus 20 degrees here in Canada today. So staying inside, trying to stay warm. I had myself a little hot cocoa earlier. Okay. Other than that, I know you're driving, right? Where are you headed?
I know it's going to shock you, but I'm headed to South Carolina.
Hell yeah. I knew you were. And I called Jason 10 minutes ago and he said, I'm driving through the mountains. I need about 10 minutes. And I was like, okay. Within those 10 minutes, bombshell dropped on me. Well, I guess not directly at me, but a bombshell that the University of Oklahoma's quarterback, Caleb Williams, has decided he's going to enter the transfer portal and explore his options to be a quarterback next year at another school. The NIL stuff is just crazy. The name, image, likeness, and the money that, it's just swaying a lot of people. And I get it. If I was an 18 to 21-year-old guy, well, even if I'm right now a 39-year-old guy, and someone was like, hey, come play here and we'll pay you X amount, I would do it. I get it, but it still sucks as college football, you choose a university and you go for the pageantry and the experience. And now it's turning into I guess almost like the AHL or the NFL's AHL, I guess. It's like their lower, it's like their training league, which it's always been. People go to college, they play a couple years, and if they're really good, they leave and they go to the NFL. But the money thing has really changed the dynamic over there, and it was a rough 10 minutes for me. Here I got. I'm on
yeah. The NIL stuff is so new, but really the transfer portal is relatively new as well, right? It used to be much different how guys would transfer schools. I don't know if you heard, but I heard a crazy stat. It said something like 65 to 70% of the athletes that have entered the transfer portal this year are still in the transfer portal. And to me, as someone who has a ridiculous amount of student debt, I know most of these athletes are getting scholarships, right? And when they go into that portal, they're not guaranteed to get to another school. And then if they just remain in there, they can try to go back to their original school, but it's not a guarantee. So they're basically kind of putting the scholarship kind of up in limbo while they do it. Now, obviously, Caleb Williams, a great quarterback, is probably going to find a place to go and have no issues. But it sounds like a lot of these athletes are going into this portal not realizing, or maybe just thinking, I'll definitely find another school, and then they're kind of getting stuck there. And it's crazy to me, again, just to think about how much money you're risking in college education by doing that. So
yeah, I guess let's be realist about college football. I know this isn't a college football show, but college football is important to me because it's a big part of my life, just like hockey is. Just because I love it, I watch it, but a lot of those kids aren't going to college to get a college degree. Let's just throw that right out there, right? It's just the way it's just a stepping stone, and I get that. But on those stepping stones on the way, provide a lot of memories, a lot of accolades. But then there's also a lot of college athletes, myself included, not a big deal. We went obviously to get stuff paid for. I wasn't going to play professional baseball, but it paid for my college, and so. But these guys like Caleb Williams, obviously, there's been reports of Georgia offering him $90 million in NIL deal. I think that's a little bit overstated, but that's an asinine amount of money for a 20-year-old kid.
Right.
Look, that's like LeBron when he didn't go to college, he went straight to the NBA, and he made $180 million on his deal from Nike before he even played one NBA game. That's generational money. And so I get why he would do it. I'm super stoked that he came out and said, listen, I have to explore my options, especially with all the, the changes when I chose to come to Oklahoma. This is what was here. And now there's been so many changes, obviously, with the coaching staff and everything around that. So I owe it to myself to, explore my options. Oklahoma is still an option. but I for me and my family, I need to. And so I respect the fact that he didn't just run out like a thief in the night, like the old ball coach did. And he's actually saying, hey, and then he's also, like I said, a 19-year-old kid, great leader on the field. Right. I'm super stoked for moving forward, especially with the new coaching staff, to see what he could do. But I mean, Oklahoma's definitely went over and above, saying that Oklahoma's not about one person, one coach, one player, anyone in the history. We're about Oklahoma. And so we there's other quarterbacks, but it is crazy. Like, to leave and say those lower level guys that don't find a place to transfer to, and then they can't transfer to their own school. Like that's a tough look. Right. But, and a lot of people, like, there's been other players that entered the portal this year from Oklahoma that were good, like high level players, like, Marvin Mims. I think Theo Weiss did as well. Two really good, wide receivers, but they came back. They said, "Oh, we checked out there. Now we're back." Right. So, it's 6 one thing, half a dozen another. It'll suck if Caleb leaves, but we had a couple other prospects, that we signed on signing day, which are big, but they're also freshmen coming in. But maybe there's another quarterback in the portal that OU jumps out and get. Who knows? But it's tough when you recruit a guy and you're like, yes, he's going to be great for my school, and then he leaves after the year he had because he wasn't even the starter. Like, he was the backup to Spencer Rattler, who everyone thought was going to be the Heisman favorite, and then he struggled. And then this guy comes in halfway through OU Texas when OU's just getting dominated by Texas and just carries the team on his back. Like, there's like a 4th and 2 where he broke off a 66-yard touchdown run that got OU back in the game. So, like, we like beating Texas. That's what us Okies like to do. And so, he's already in Sooner lore, and now to think that, now he's not going to build on that lore, it just sucks for us. But I know this isn't a college football show, but this is what's important to Nick and Jason as beer leaguers show. And so that's what's important to me. So it'll be interesting to see. It's a new dynamic, and I know every team has to, go by the same rules, but it's just like pro NHL teams, like free agents. I mean, where does a free agent want to go? Does he want to go to LA, Florida, or does he want to go to Edmonton or Winnipeg? Some places just have a step up on the thing just because of where they're at. And that's something you can't overcome. Like, Oklahoma cannot be Southern California. It's just the way, right? And I'm not saying Southern California is better. I think I like to visit SoCal. We've talked about this before. I would never want to live there. I think it's an awesome place, and I love going there. But, if I had to choose between living in Oklahoma and Southern California, I would go Oklahoma all day for a multitude of reasons. But as a kid, I guess, 19-year-old, 20-year-old kid, or as someone that has a bunch of money, those places are very attractive. I mean, the weather is great. I mean, it's -20 here in Calgary, and I question why the fuck did I move here? But I did. And so, so that's that. So, interesting stuff. People want to know what's going on. Like, one of the things was, you talk about what's going on, in your life, what's important to you. That's important to me. So if you're not a college football fan, sorry. If you are, who's your team? Let us know. We'll root against each other. We'll chirp each other. That's the best part about being a fan, is being able to chirp each other, but not taking it so serious. Because I know, I've done it before, where you get into it with someone, then you're like, fuck, I'm arguing over a school full of 18 to 22-year-olds, and that's what we're arguing about as adult men, which is weird, right? But other than that, This show is brought to you by HockeyWolf.com. Ow, 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 ow. Ow, 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 ow. HockeyWolf.com. Very good friends of the show. It's a pro shop in the Pacific Northwest, but they also do online orders. They'll ship everywhere. So if you want to get some team gear, if you need to buy some individual equipment for yourself, they'll help you out. They're great folks. They really support what beer leaguers are doing, and most importantly, what the BLPA guys are doing. And you should check them out. Beer leaguers just like you and me, trying to make the game more affordable. So check them out, hockeywolf.com. Ow, 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 ow. Ow, 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 ow. And let's talk about hockeywolf.com, because I've said it before. Right. I don't say it all the time, but I always sometimes talk about the gloves. Now, I'm not a CCM guy, but they have a bunch of state gloves, and I heard a little rumor, a little birdie, that you were the birdie, by the way, told me that you have been buying these state branded gloves. Let's hear about that. Why? Which ones are you buying? What's going on?
Yeah. So first off, obviously, I just want to prove that we put our money where our mouth is, literally. So, Hockey Wolf supports us. So I thought, well, I want to support Hockey Wolf. And I went and checked out these gloves because you had mentioned it one day on the show, right?
Yep.
So after the show was over, I was like, I'm going to go check out these fake gloves that, Nick talks about every once in a while. And I was like, man, these are dope, especially, like, it depends on the state, right? And I like some better than others. And, if you're from a state, you're probably going to like yours better than other states or whatever. But I was like, if you follow me on Twitter, which only a couple of you do, so you definitely should do that, at Beer League Jason on Twitter.
Yep.
You would see that I replied to the BLPA post and said that I'm going to do somewhere between 10 and 12 tournaments this year. Like, that's my goal. I'm going to try to do between 10 and 12. I believe 10 is the record currently for non-staff in a year. Is that correct?
That 100%. That is the record right now.
Okay. So I'm going for 12. I want to try to break that record.
Okay.
And I thought of a good idea once I saw these gloves. I was like, man, what if I just bought a pair of gloves for each state that I'm going to play in, and I'll use those at that tournament. Something you should know about me, like Nick, not to the extreme that he is with his Eagle gloves, but I'm a little bit of a glove whore. I like gloves. I like to have a lot of gloves, mainly because to me, they're the ones that smell the worst, the fastest. So I like to just have fresh gloves so that they don't smell terrible. But yeah, what my plan is, I'm gonna buy whatever state tournaments I'm playing in. I'm gonna buy the gloves, and I'll wear them for that tournament.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I mean, what if you came to 50 and got all 50 states? That would be something cool. I mean, we don't have a tournament now, 50 states. Well, eventually.
Yeah, eventually. Like, that's the plan, right? Like, I'll do it this year. Maybe I'll do it again next year, and I'll have some of them at that point, right? So if I play in one that I've already done before, I'll just take those state gloves with me again. But that was kind of my secondary goal to this is like, what if I could play in all 50 states and then I'll have all 50 pairs of gloves? Like, that would be cool.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool thing. I mean, if they were Eagle gloves, I would definitely be way more on board. But I think I do need to buy the Oklahoma ones just because you gotta rep your home state for sure. Speaking of repping your home state, have you seen the new BLPA versus the World hoodies?
I have not.
So we made these. Like, I just wanted to I wanted to create something because people are always like, oh, who has the most representation in the BLPA? So I was able to pull that in the group, and so I was like, okay, here's the top 10. Here's the top 10 states, and then I was like, well, if people want to know that, maybe they want to represent their state with the BLPA. So I made like it's a hoodie, and it'll be t-shirt soon, but it says BLPA versus the world, and the verse has like the state outline around it. And so there's a Tennessee one. There's a Tennessee one on there for sure. But they're really nice champion hoodies, and they're great. And right now I think there's like 15 of them up, 15 states, and eventually we'll get to all of them as we keep moving forward. But people really like those. And the mystery boxes are on fire right now. Like, our goal for the first one was 50, and we're 14 of them away from hitting 50. So I'm super stoked about that. I actually had to go look at a new space today. A space, because we don't have a space right now other than my house. But we've got so much stuff coming in for these boxes and other things that I just don't have any room to store it at my place. And we also don't have a ton of money just to buy a big space. I wish we could buy like a 2,000 square foot shop and then make it the BLPA bunker or something. But I looked at a space in a jersey design. The guy owns a jersey company called Silverback. I don't know if you've seen the Kraken Beers logo with the obviously octopus Kraken Beers, but he created that. But he has a space up there. Yeah, so he created that, and I was talking to him, and he said, I have a room that is not used. If you want to rent it from me, and so it made sense. So hopefully we'll be moving have a little BLPA bunker space. But we want to get to the big space, but we got to start small. We got to start and build it, just like beer league, right? You start out, and then you just blow up. So I'm super excited about that. If we can get to 50 or sell 14 more this week. Is that what it is? Sell 14 more this week. We'll throw in an extra jersey into the random draw, and a pair of these Iron Man gloves we'll throw in there. So super stoked about that. Yeah,
those are sweet. I saw those on the Twitter.
And you were number one.
Super sweet.
You were number one in
That's right.
First, what if you win? What if you win the Iron Man gloves when you already won some on an auction?
That would be awesome.
So, I buy them from you, and then they just get sent right back to you. That would be crazy, huh?
Yeah, no, I think if I won them, I'd have to find someone else to do them.
Just donate them back for the next month.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
I like that. So, all right, what are we gonna chit chat about today? Obviously, we've already talked about this, this NCAA football thing. We've talked about the mystery boxes. Also, we're doing a limited run of all the Pokey jerseys. So until the January 9th, you can go on to beerleagueplayers.com. That's where you can find the mystery boxes, but you can also find in the jersey fundraiser, you can find the Pokemon jerseys that we've done. And we're making them available till the 9th, and we won't print any more of those. But and
those jerseys are probably the thickest, in my opinion, that we've had. And when I wear mine, I always get compliments on them, like in opens and whatnot. So everyone should go check those out for sure.
Yeah, I really like them, and I always said I wasn't going to do another Pokey theme, but then there's a couple that I still really like that I'd like to see on jerseys, and so I don't know if we're going. I don't want to be a man of not my word, but I also want people just love them, right? So maybe if we can ever get to like an 8-team tournament, then that's where we do the Pokey theme.
That sounds like a challenge. I think we need to challenge the BLPA to get us to an 18 tournament, so we can.
I just don't know where
we can get more Pokey jerseys.
The only problem with 18, it requires so much more ice, right?
Turn it up. Be a beauty. Listen, subscribe, rate, and review. Let's get it.
I mean, it's 5 more ice time. It's 3 more on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. But the thing about it is you just have to find the right place. A lot of these places like hosting the draft experience, a lot of these rinks, because it's not the traditional ice requirement of a full team tournament. I mean, if you did a 10-team tournament with 2 divisions, I mean, you're basically looking at let's see, it'd be a 4 and a 6, so it'd be 6 times 3 is 18 divided by 2, so you'd be 10. So you need 17 hours of ice to do 10 teams in that format. And then you start getting a little bit bigger, like when we were in Columbus with the 34 teams or whatever, we were up near 60 hours of ice. And so it's a lot more ice requirements for a team tournament. So that's why they like the draft experience, because you don't have to do all the programming as a tournament that weekend, but you start doing 8, then I mean you're at 12 hours, so you're basically at 15 hours of ice, right, with the cuts. So that's what makes the 8-teamers tough. But they're fun because there's so many more people there, I think, and the draft's a huge shit show
sure.
and all that good stuff. But so we do have decks going on this weekend, Philly decks. I mentioned in the intro. Super stoked about. I wish I was going. I keep going back and forth, Bud, about should I just hop on a plane and go? But then, the reason I made the decision is because of Omicron and, our homie Omi. And I wish I was going because I saw the jerseys as well. And that is like, fuck. So, but we are sold out. So I wouldn't even get to play if I went, even sold my spot.
Right.
So, they got so awesome. I'm going to miss Philly because it sold out last year. It was going to be a sold out 6-team tournament in its inaugural year last year. This year they stepped up again, another sold out 6-team tournament. And so, I want to be there, but I also want to make sure that Iceland is covered off as well. And so, have you seen the jerseys, right, for Philly?
Turn it up. If you're digging the show, support us through patreon.com/BLPA.
The most greatest.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I saw them in person. Like usually you see the art and you kind of like, and I was like, okay, I like them, but but then I saw them actually, and they're badass, man. They're so badass. And so I'm bummed to be missing it, but Philly will be great for those that are going to Philly that just wanted to see the commish. None of you probably, but I wish I was there with you, and I hope you'll come to another one soon, and hopefully I'll be at that one. So, yeah, man, I'm super bummed about Philly because not necessarily the hockey. I do like the people there, but I also like cheesesteaks, and boy, do they got some cheesesteaks in Philly.
Yeah, that's kind of their thing, right?
That is their thing. And I've done a tour with I've done a tour with some locals, and they took me to all these places like Steve's and Prince's. Those ones aren't even the best cheesesteaks, to be honest with you. Are you a Philly cheesesteak guy? Have you been to Philly and ate cheesesteaks?
So I've never been to Philly and eaten one, and in fact, I do like Philly cheesesteaks, but like I put stuff on Philly cheesesteaks that pisses off Philly cheesesteak people.
Ooh, what do you do? What do you do?
Like, I add pickles and barbecue sauce, which is not like people are like, it's not a Philly cheesesteak anymore. And I'm like, well, but it was, and I just added pickles and barbecue sauce. So it's almost like a barbecue sandwich for me. So that like, if I were to go to Philly, like, obviously I wouldn't be able to do that. You go into a place in Philly and you're like, can I get a Philly cheesesteak? Can you add pickles and barbecue sauce? I'd be like, just leave the state and don't come back. But I would also eat one regular, how it's supposed to be from Philly, because I'm sure they're dynamite.
Would you go Whiz Wit?
What is that?
That's Cheese Whiz is the cheese and with onions.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
So you can go Whiz With, Whiz Without, provolone. You know.
Yeah, I'm not picky. Like, I'll eat it however they tell me to eat it. Like, I would probably just go into a place and be like, how would you eat it if you were ordering it? Give it to me that way, because the people in there are going to know what's best, right? Like, that's what they do.
It's true. I mean, then there's so many. There's like Steve's, Prince of Steaks, D'Alessandro's. I've had that one. Let's see. There's Jim's. There's what's the other one? I mean, there's so many of them, right? But mine is a non-traditional one, and I'll tell you why. And speaking of adding things that aren't, I guess you can't say it's not kosher, because they're the ones that promoted this add-on. I was downtown-ish area, and there's a place called Sonny's, and I'd eaten the regular one there before, and it's really good. It wouldn't be my favorite one to be honest with you, if we were just doing regular. But when I saw the advertisement for add bacon,
yeah.
So I added bacon to it, and it was the best one. And I'm sorry, bacon makes everything better. And you can't say, oh, it's not a Philly cheesesteak, because it says Sonny's famous cheesesteaks, and then they have an advertisement for a cheesesteak with bacon. So it is a real thing. And I would probably tell everyone, try your regular Whiz Wit. I like those with the Whiz Wits, but you add bacon, and it's just even more special, even more American, to be honest with you. And so you should try Sonny's famous ones. That's my favorite cheesesteak place, because they have the bacon. But I mean, D'Alessandro's and Steve's, they're all good as well. I can't remember what the ones are that are like, they're literally on a corner, like competing corners, like kitty corner from each other. And I went there and I got one, and I was like, oh, I'll get one, but they cut it in half. So I gave one to my friend, and we went across the street and had the other place and cut it in half and gave the other, so it was like, we weren't just gluttons. But we
right. You had one, you just shared it.
Yeah, exactly. I wish someone will chime in. I know there's someone from Philly that listens to the show. What's the ones that are kitty corner from each other, like competing corners, where you can like just stand right there in the middle and see it? That I kind of want to look at it. I know I have pictures of it, because then I got drunk, ate a bunch of cheesesteaks, and then played in that fucking fountain out there in front of Rocky's steps. So, I mean, it was a night for sure. I mean, that's what you do at draft parties. When was I there?
Not what I do.
Let's see. Here's one. That's me at Sonny's. But that was 2000. I can't remember when we were there in was it 2018? That's when I did the cheeseburger celly, by the way. Okay.
Yeah, it had to be. I mean,
it was.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, it was. I did the cheeseburger celly because that was an Atlantic City tournament. So that's the Thursday before. Ooh, what if now I wish I could, because I could do a cheesesteak celly, because I'm going to drop a bombshell right here. You ready for this? Bombshell for the Philly Dex. We're supplying pant shells.
Oh,
bombshell.
Big news.
So I could have done a Philly goal scoring celebration, Philly cheesesteak goal scoring celly. Fuck. Now, do I jump on a plane? I can't jump. I've already sold my spot. I can't take it back. God dang it. That stinks. But we are doing pan shells. We're at selected tournament. Not every tournament now, mainly because one supplier doesn't offer them and another supplier does. And so we're just trying to see if people actually do like that. I know that's something that's missing from other similar style draft tournaments, but ours are also over $100 cheaper. So is the pant shell really worth $100? No, but we were able to do this and keep it in the same price with, some Willin and Dylan that I do, And so we'll see if people like him. But yeah, that Apollo Creed jersey with the USA shell, fucking bomb, bud.
Yeah, it does look really good.
They look great. They look great.
And I'm not like a huge Rocky fan, but like obviously playing in Philly, I think that's the perfect team. And they do look great.
They look incredible. I'm a big fan of them, and I wish I was playing. But so pan shells, I could have done Philly cheesesteaks. So, but hey, literally, now it's gonna bother me all day which one of those cheesesteaks are right across from each other. So, let me know. Chime in. Let me know, listeners. All right, and hey, and then guess what? A couple weeks, I'll be in Iceland. Jason won't, but I will be. I will be there. I'm going to do all the Iceland things. I'm probably going to buy myself an Icelandic wool sweater.
All right.
And I'm going to walk around in it. It's probably going to be itchy as fuck, but I'm going to do it anyway because that's what you do. That's what Iceland people wear, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you got to do what the when in Rome, as they would say.
When in Rome. Oh, I still want to do a Roman draft experience. God, that would be and they do have rinks. They very few rinks. But they do have some rinks, and I'm on it. And you know, if there's one thing about me, is when I get ideas in my head, I fucking chase them, bud.
You go full send for sure on them.
I do. Hey, speaking of driving and Philly, there's a big gas station chain in Philly. I don't know if you've ever been there on your travels. Have you ever been to WAWA?
Get ready to go.
Let's do it.
Full send on the BLPA Big Show.
I have been to WAWA.
Do you like WAWA?
WAWA's okay. Like this is a pretty big debate we're gonna get into. Are we talking world's best gas station?
Well, I mean, I brought it up. I guess we should. I mean, I didn't think it was going to turn into that. I was just curious because I do remember, like I was saying, you know, as a grown man, letting 18 to 22-year-old kids in a college football program ruin your day and argue about it and all that stuff. But people legitimately argue about gas stations everywhere.
For sure.
And they get pissed off.
Yeah.
It's almost as bad as like the In-N-Out versus Whataburger versus like people are very passionate about gas stations. Very passionate.
Yeah, they are. And just like the In-N-Out, Whataburger, Chick-fil-A, whatever, it's very regional, right? Like whatever you're from, I think certainly dictates kind of what you think is the better gas station.
Yeah, because in the Northeast, it's definitely WAWA, but then there's also Sheetz is making a big one. So everyone's like, oh, WAWA or Sheetz is a big argument.
Right.
And I've taken Philly person into a Pittsburgh Sheetz, and I've taken a Pittsburgh person into a Philly WAWA and asked them which one was better. And so there are arguments, but those aren't the only gas station chains in the world that are good. I mean, what's the big ones in Nashville, in Tennessee?
So not in Nashville, but in the South in general, specifically like South Carolina, Georgia, and Alabama, and they're getting close to Nashville. It's called BUCCEES.
Oh,
have you ever heard of BUCCEES?
BUCCEES that has to be the top of the list, but I mean they're huge in Texas, massive in Texas.
Yeah, that's my thought. Like I listen, me and you are similar in that for work we travel quite a bit, right?
Yep.
I don't travel quite as much as you do, but I do travel a lot, and I've been all over. I've been in every gas station, and I do a lot of driving, so I'm in gas stations a lot. So I feel like I and maybe you as well kind of have this like we don't have a bias, right? Because we haven't just gone to WAWA our whole life, or we haven't just gone to Sheetz our whole life. Like I've been to all of them.
Yep.
And BUCCEES is nuts. Like it's insane.
It's
like
a Walmart.
I get excited.
It's a Walmart.
Yeah, basically.
It literally
basically.
I don't know how, like they say everything's bigger in Texas. I don't know if they're that big in like North Carolina, South Carolina.
They are.
In Texas.
They're like 80 pumps wide.
Yeah. Like I love pulling the RV up there. I'm like, well, fuck yeah, I can get in here for sure. And then you go inside and you're just like, holy God. Like it is, and they're always busy, always packed. It literally is like going to a Walmart every time you pull up there, and they have incredible beef jerky. They make fresh sandwiches. They make fresh drinks. It is, and they have a gift store like you're going to Cracker Barrel. Yeah. You know?
Exactly. That's exactly like what it is.
It's incredible, and it's asinine. And in Oklahoma, like maybe they'll have a buck. I mean, if they're going up I-35, eventually they'll get to Oklahoma. Like we have OnCue is one, and QT are our big ones, and they're good.
Yep.
Like they're good. They're definitely not WAWA, Sheetz, or BUCCEES. But I mean they're good. But BUCCEES for sure. But I mean I guess the big debate one would have to be WAWA and Sheetz between you and me. Have you been to both of those?
I have been to both of them.
And what's your like? Okay, since we're saying that BUCCEES is the top of the chain for sure.
Yep.
What would you say is second? Obviously, we know that OnCue. You've been to OnCue and QT as well. Those aren't going to rank up in the top three for sure. I've been to. There's another chain out in Vegas called Terribles, which there's a bunch of those, but they're just regular gas stations. They're not special, but there's a bunch of Terribles around.
And then also in the Midwest, you got the Come and Go, which not the best gas station, but certainly the best name.
Best name for sure. There's a couple in Montana. I can't remember what the names are, but it's basically like their travel center. It's not a truck stop, but they're big like
Is
some of these
Casey's General Store?
Casey's General Store is big. That's big in Oklahoma too. I forgot to. They've made a comeback or a big
and
push.
Iowa.
Well, they bought all the Circle K's. Casey's General Store did so. That's a good one too, and they make fresh food, and they have really good pizza, by the way, at Casey's. But I think if you put all that, those are second tier, or maybe third tier, really.
Yep.
Third tier gas station. First tier is definitely BUCCEES. We're in agreement with that. BUCCEES is the best gas station chain, right?
Yep, for sure.
Okay, but now the big argument. Well, maybe it's not an argument. Maybe we both agree. I don't know. What's better, WAWA or Sheetz?
I prefer WAWA to Sheetz.
I prefer Sheetz to WAWA.
Oh,
I think they got better food.
I mean,
I think they got better. I think.
Yeah,
when I first went to WAWA, it seemed to be really good, and everyone was talking about it. And I went to it in Philly. That's where I went to them. Now WAWA does have better. Like they have like the tasty cakes. And those are fucking badass, by the way. They have those, but I think Sheetz food and Sheetz drinks like shakes are way better than WAWA's for sure.
Yeah, I agree that I think like when you rank gas stations, like food isn't obviously the only thing, right? Like another reason I love BUCCEES. I don't know if you've been in their bathrooms. I assume you have since you've been in one.
Yep.
But they're like immaculate, clean, and huge, right?
Yep.
And so if you got to do your business, like that's a big plus for a gas station, right? To me, Sheetz are generally cleaner and nicer in general, like the actual store bathrooms and all that.
Yep.
So that does get a plus for me. But I like WAWA's food a little bit more than Sheetz food. And again, I think you're right. I think they're both second tier, like they're like 2A and 2B.
Yeah.
And
that's not a knock.
Everything else kind of being below them.
That's not a knock, Northeast people. It's not a knock. We're not saying like second tier is low rate. What's low rate? 7-Elevens. Those are low rate.
7-Eleven, bro.
7-Eleven. I mean, those are like the like I think. Remember when? Maybe you didn't do it, but when I was a little kid, my family didn't have a bunch of money, and we couldn't drink, Dr. Pepper, Coca-Cola. We had to have Shasta.
Yeah,
and
we had Big K.
Okay, and Dr. Thunder from Walmart, Sam's Choice.
Yep.
But let me tell you, Black Cherry Shasta is bomb. But this is like 7-Eleven is like the Shasta of gas stations.
For sure.
Really. I mean, they work.
Yeah.
They're good enough, but they're not top tier. So you have top tier is one, BUCCEES in a land of its own. And maybe someone comes up with a bigger one. I don't know if anyone can beat BUCCEES. It'd take a hell of a lot to do it. Like you'd have to have like a live band playing out front. You'd probably have to have like a
carnival ride.
Yeah, carnival ride. Maybe you have like a ketchup bar or a barbecue sauce bar where they had. I went to a slider place that had a ketchup bar and it had like 37 different types of ketchup. But nonetheless, they'd have to have something like that to really make me think, oh well, they're stepping up the bar on BUCCEES, right?
Right.
Or maybe there's someone that wipes your butt in the bathroom. Maybe that's a step up for sure. Bidets. If they had a bidet. Any gas station that has a bidet, to me, is going to be at least second tier because bidets are the truth, my friend. That's why I love Japan. Bidets everywhere, bud. You ever used a bidet?
I've never used one.
Yep.
No, I haven't. But I have considered getting one several times. Like they make some pretty cheap ones now that like are still good. They just hook to your toilet.
Yeah,
You hook the line up or whatever, and they're supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah, get an expensive one. Get a nice one. Listen, my first bidet was this. I moved to Canada, and I got this job working for this hockey company, and my first job was go out to Vancouver and start a league. That was basically what they told me. They didn't give me nothing else. Go out to Vancouver, start. And I'm like, okay. So I went out, I got it started, and we had to come back we did a draft league, right? Because it was just 4 teams. That's how we were going to start it. And we go to stay at this Airbnb, and it's me, the 3 owners, or 4 owners, and a friend, right? So we had 5 people. So we had to have a big Airbnb. The first Airbnb we went to, it was trash, bud. Like there was I swear there were pubes on my bed. They said no one was living there, but there was someone in the basement for sure. 100%. It was, and like we had to fight to get Airbnb. Like finally we're like, we just won't, fuck it. We'll lose the money. We'll find another place. Well, we found this place actually farther away from the rink, and it was closer to the place where we eventually had the league in Vancouver, but originally it wasn't. But it was a mansion. Like it was listed for sale for like $2.7 million. It was huge.
Wow.
And but it was a weird place. We got in. There was a bedroom for each of us, and when we walked in, as soon as we walk in, I get a phone call, and the guy's talking to me. The guy that runs the house, he's like, okay, go up the stairs and I'll turn here. And he goes, no, turn the other way. And I was like, what do you see? He's like, I'm watching you. I have cameras all over. I'm like, oh, goddamn. But it was really cool because then he was like, what do you guys want for breakfast? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, whatever you want. I'll bring it. You guys can cook it. And we're like, bacon, eggs, and toast. And so he filled that refrigerator with, like 5 pounds of bacon, like 6 racks of eggs. Like that was nice. But then the bathroom downstairs, this badass bidet, sorry, badass bidet. And I just I wanted to poop all day just so I could clean myself on this bidet because it felt so good. You spray yourself with water. You got the air to dry you off. The seat was heated. It was fucking perfect, bud. And so, so I've been a fan of bidets for a while. There's actually a sushi place here in Calgary. Their sushi is probably my 3rd or 4th sushi place in Calgary, taste wise, but they have a bidet. So I choose to go to that one over the taste of the sushi. Yep. Because when I eat, I poop.
Then take a nice poop. I am the same way.
Yeah. Every time I eat, I have to poop. It's just the way it is. And it could be right after I eat. It could be 5. But anyway, so if you have never enjoyed a bidet, you should for sure. And you should buy one, Jason.
All right.
You should buy one.
Yeah. I'm going to get one for sure at some point.
So, all right. I guess we talked about hockey in the draft stuff. But maybe we should talk about actual hockey stuff instead of, bidets, gas stations, and that kind of stuff. Anything cool hockey wise you want to talk about?
Did you see the Winter Classic?
I did.
This weekend?
I did see the Winter Classic.
Okay.
It was cold as fuck there, it looked like.
Yeah. It was like -9 degrees, which reminds me, did you see what the Blues wore pregame to go to the game or whatever?
Are you talking about when they got out of the bus and they were all in swimsuits?
Yeah. They're all in their fucking summer attire. It's -9 degrees.
I saw the guy with the swim trunks and a scarf wrapped around him, and I love that because I love personality. It definitely beats get pucks in deep, trust the process, 110%, blah 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 blah. And so that was killer. But what did you think about their jerseys? Did you like their jerseys? Do you like third jerseys?
I generally do. I know everyone's pretty critical on jerseys all the time. And let me just say, as a Preds fan, they don't have the Winter Classic, but they have the Outdoor Series this year. Their third jersey that they're doing is trash.
It is trash.
Absolute 100% trash. I mean, you can't even there's not even a subsection of fans in Nashville that are like, no, it's really good. See, because of X, Y, Z, everyone's just like, this is the worst jersey we've ever seen. But I thought the jerseys for the Winter Classic were both pretty good, actually. I thought they were, okay. But I think it is different. I think you're a little more critical when you are a fan, right? Because, you want that jersey because you're going to wear it, right, to games or whatever. So you're more critical, whereas I look at it, I'm like, oh, yeah, it's a cool Blues jersey. It's a cool Wild jersey.
Yeah.
I like them. What did you think?
I like them, too. I love the use of cream in jerseys.
Yeah.
I just think it's different.
Yeah, it looks
and it
good.
looks really good. I like cream and I like gray, and I wish more people. Maybe I'm going to do some cream gray jerseys for a team one day. But I do. But it's funny you say that about jerseys, because I remember when I first became a Calgary Flames fan, it was 2006 or so, something like 2007 maybe. But they hadn't wore the horsehead jerseys for a while because people thought they were stupid. And I used to remember, like, even Flames fans thought they were stupid. Like, they don't, like, it's just a retarded, flame throwing horse. Like, what is this? Like, I don't understand it. And people just didn't like them, right? They just didn't think it fit anything. And then they went away. And then for the retro reverse jerseys, they were bringing back, and everyone just flipped out about them, thought they were the greatest thing ever. And I was just like, that's such a weird flip. But me personally, I love Blasty.
Right.
I love Blasty. That's his name, by the way. I love Blasty, the horse. I made sure that I got one of those jerseys. But I can see, like, there's still people that said that they're stupid. No one should bring them back. But I do like their retro red jerseys that the Flames wear are fire, bud.
Yeah. The Preds were in the Winter Classic last year, and they got a lot of flack for their jersey because it was just like scripted writing or whatever.
Yeah.
But I thought they were good. They were like clean, and there was some history to it. The first team hockey team to ever play in Nashville, which was, I don't even know what league they were in, but they were in a lower league that obviously wore not as fancy jerseys. But I thought they were super clean, and it's one of my favorite jerseys that I have now. So like I said, I'm usually not as critical as most people are on those jerseys, because generally when a jersey gets released, like, all Twitter is people just bashing on how terrible it is.
Yeah.
But especially with the reverse retros, I thought there was a lot of really good reverse retro jerseys.
Yeah, there was a ton. Like, that Ducks one was pretty cool for sure. And I think a lot of it, like, everyone thinks they can do better, but no one does do better. But I think it would be cool for the NHL. I mean, let's call a spade spade, and these jerseys are a revenue source for the teams. Like, they want to make more money, so they put out a different version of a jersey, and that's how they make more money. Like, it's not like, oh, let's do something cool for the fans. That's just not the case. But I think it would be cool. I think it'd be cool if they took fan submissions for each team, and, like, every year they played a game in, like, a fan submitted jersey, and then sold those. I think that would be pretty cool.
I think that'd be cool.
They're talking about it.
And that's a good way to get your fans involved too.
I mean, this is why the NHL should hire you and me, because we have ideas like this. And I just think that they don't think about stuff like this. They, obviously it's a business. I get it, but I think that we could do some good for the NHL, to be honest with you.
I agree. And they're probably listening. So, our DMs are open. Hit us up. We can talk numbers. We can figure something out.
Well, I saw you tweet something to Barstool about if you ever need any beer league stuff, right? And they do have Spittin' Chicklets, and Spittin' Chicklets is a good pod. Like, don't get me wrong. I hate on Spittin' Chicklets only because they're so successful, and I want to be that successful. That's just the point of it. But it's a good podcast. But to think that Barstool cares about hockey is just not the case, right? It's just they just.
I would agree with that.
But it's just like the United States. The United States doesn't care about hockey. There are people that care about hockey. It's a niche sport still. Okay, is it the top three? Maybe. No, it's not. It's not even the top three, because you got MLB.
Maybe top four.
Well, I don't know, because you got NBA, you have NFL,
Soccer.
Soccer's making the comeback. So is soccer ahead of hockey? Maybe, probably it is. So top five is what we're really, because then college football is in, so it could be top six.
Oh, college football is definitely more popular than
100%
than hockey.
100%.
And you could probably argue college basketball is more popular than hockey for at least a month and a half.
Top seven.
Yeah.
Well, there are people. I'm just not a basketball fan, but there are people that are like diehard college basketball fans, and they follow it like I follow college football. So
for sure.
I would
Absolutely.
say. But one thing I forgot to touch on that I want to touch on before we end the show is that we were talking about the Winter Classic and how cold it was. Have you ever played hockey when it's that cold outside?
I haven't. Like, I've actually never played hockey outdoors. Like, I've never been to an outdoor rink. I was supposed to go to Philly last year. Of course, we know, Rona ruined that. And I probably would be at Philly this year had I not already been planning on going to Iceland, which obviously got messed up. So I've never played in an outdoor rink, and that's definitely like bucket list. And when I say bucket list, most people say bucket list like, oh, I got to do it before I die. Like, I need to do it in the next year.
Well, come to Lake Louise, bud.
Somewhere.
Come to Lake Louise.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I got work and my wife doesn't always allow me to do the things that I think are a good idea. So I have thought about that, and I've vaguely mentioned it to her. So I might plant a few more seeds, in the next couple of days.
We should do a show, even though you don't know much, you can learn something called like ODR necessities, where we talk. Cause I've played on the ODR. I don't do it as much as I should, because listen, I think a lot of people romanticize the ODR, it's really awesome, but it's just like swimming when you're a kid. Every kid loves to swim. They want to get in the pool all the time. It could be 55 degrees, 60 degrees, and you want to swim. And I'm sure just like myself, when you were a little kid, you talked to your parents into letting you go, oh, it's not too cold, and you'd get in the pool and your lips would be blue and you'd be shivering, but hell, I'm in the fucking pool, so I'm having a good time. I think that's what ODR is too. Like, I want to do an ODR tournament. They just had a big one for kids in Calgary, and I'm actually in discussions about doing this for adults. But I think when it gets to a point, like it was minus 25 for these kids outside, like that's not fun. It's just not.
Yeah, that sounds pretty horrible.
It's just if you can get like my first ever Lake Louise tournament that I hosted, it was 0 degrees, 31 degrees, and it was perfect weather for ODR. Perfect. The next year, I can remember the Sunday morning for Championship Sunday, minus 45 when we went to take the eye. You couldn't blow the whistles. The whistles wouldn't blow. So like the players were like, well, what do you want to do? Like, is this safe? And they're like, let's just fucking get it over with. And it's just cold. It is just absolutely insanely cold. And that's the one thing about Lake Louise, especially the weekend we're doing it. It could be perfect. 0 degrees, 31, 32 degrees, or it could be minus 40. It's just the way it is. And so I think that's what a lot of people don't realize, that when ODR is awesome, I'm gonna get out there. I'd get out there every chance I get if I'm in Canada. Well, when it's minus 25 degrees outside, you don't want to be outside doing anything, nothing. And so that
does sound terrible.
So there are some necessities that you need for an ODR. Maybe I'll put those all together and I'll do a show on that, and we'll do that next week. We'll discuss the ODR necessities, what you need to have a good ODR skate, or maybe an ODR tournament. I'm trying to get an ODR our tournament going, but the problem is with ODR for me is it kind of cuts out the goalie. Like we found them in the draft venues where it's outdoors, but it's covered, so it has boards. A lot of ODR tournaments don't have any boards, so it's just they pile up the snow, which is awesome because you can put your beer in that snow, and it's cold. It stays cold all day. You don't need no cooler required, but you don't get a goalie. And I think as much as we bash on goalies here, Jason, and we do love goalies, let's not get the wrong idea. I think goalies are a part of the game, and if you don't have a goalie, then it's not real hockey. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would agree.
So
yeah, no, I agree.
But for me, that can't lift the puck very much, except for that one time when I came down on old Frank in Nashville, made that bar ring, haunted his life forever since then. It's good.
I think it's still ringing, actually.
Yeah,
if you drive by, you can still hear it.
It's still vibrating. It's in his ears for sure. Like he can for sure hear it. I wonder if Frank's going to do a mystery box or a VIP box. It's not a mystery.
I hear, one of our most loyal people, Michael Cosentino, hasn't done one.
Yeah, shout out Michael Cosentino.
That gives me little faith that, Frank, who is nowhere near as loyal as the Cos, is going to do one.
Do you think Cos's wife?
I mean, you know what? Maybe I'll text her.
And what about Frank's wife?
I've got her number from a group text. I got both of their numbers, actually.
Yeah. Hey,
so maybe I'll just shoot them text and suggest it.
Play it like this. Hey, you guys should definitely get these boxes for the boys.
Yeah.
Because they want them, but they don't want to commit to it. And it definitely helps out the show. It helps out, for the brand, all that good stuff. And they're our friends. I know they'll come through. Yeah. Frank?
I hope so.
Hey, you know what? If Frank becomes a mystery box guy or a VIP, I keep calling him mystery box, VIP box. If he becomes a VIP box guy, I'll never talk about that time that I rung one off the post, bar down on him.
Okay.
I will.
Okay.
As long as he's a monthly guy. So,
I like it.
So that's and hey, if he doesn't become one, I'm going to talk about it every episode, and it's going to keep getting bigger. I don't know how much bigger it can get, but it's going to keep getting bigger. So
yeah,
I
think that's good. Challenge spin out.
Yeah,
Frank.
Yeah, there you go.
Ball's
Frank,
in your court now.
or Frank's wife, whichever, you know.
Or either one.
Also, to end the show, I want to talk about our NFTs because I just got the art back today, and we're waiting on a bunch of jerseys for our puck puppies. But they look fucking badass, bud.
Yep.
They look badass.
Yeah, I did see like a little sneak peek. I haven't seen all the way done. But I'm pretty excited for one. I know I'm going to buy one. It's going to be my first NFT, something that I've wanted to get into, but don't know a whole lot about. So I still got to do some research.
That's the thing. Like we're gonna learn.
Figure out what the whole thing is about.
We're gonna learn. I mean, we're gonna be on like the Polygon blockchain, so the gas fees are gonna be a little less than because for Ethereum, you obviously have to pay a mint price, which is what you buy the NFT for. So let's say it's $25, but we're gonna sell them for $25. Okay. But then you have to pay for gas fees to actually to get them done on the blockchain, right? So basically, in theory, for us is we have 100,000 different NFTs that can be created. I think it's 88,000 with the attribute, right? Because there's different helmets, there's different hair, there's different fur color, there's different items like hockey sticks, and there was one other thing. Oh, different jerseys. And you'll be like, it's country jerseys from the Olympics right now. So they're going to be badass. But nonetheless.
Okay.
So when you buy it, at least you buy the $25, the mint price, it randomly will generate a puck puppy with a random attribute, from the list. Right. And so you'll get a completely unique thing. And we have to assign like the rarity of the thing, and then it also get a name. And so the name's broken into four different things. There's like a title, there's a first name, last name, and then like a suffix. So you could get like Emperor Bender Gretzky the second. That could be your puck puppy's name. And and they're all unique. Like none of them will be the same. So but for us, like what we're trying to do it for, obviously the community, because we think it's cool, we think it's fun, it's just something different, trying to get us old ass beer leaguers into the technology world, but also we can use it to kind of fund our charity stuff. So right now what we have is obviously we do our military stuff like with our decks, and then we do just stuff that we want to do, and then we also animals, like we also donate to some animal rescue stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, here's the deal for these NFTs. 10% goes here, 10% goes here, and 10% goes to a new nonprofit that we're creating called BLPA Strong. And that way we can do all the stuff that you've seen us do in the group, like with the guy that needed help with cancer treatments for the kids or the beer leaguers that, just had a rough year and needed some help Christmas time for the kids. We can do that stuff through that stuff. So this is just a way to fund it and do it in a little different way than just, hey, give us money and then we'll go do stuff. Now we can say, oh, look, we're going to do the NFTs, buy this, be a part of this kind of cool, new, crazy thing that not everyone's sure about, but is big everywhere. And in turn, you're also helping, charitable organizations.
Yeah, I dig it. I think that's a really cool way to do it, and not a crazy price, right? Everybody can get involved, and you get something cool, and it helps out, your fellow beer leaguers in the process. So,
and I think I think people awesome. People like you are the best customer, Jason, because you're like me, where like you have something, but you like to collect things. And and that's what's funny about NFTs, because there's so many different ones. You'll be like, oh, I got this one. Ooh, I really want to try to get this, this kind of attribute or something like that. And so people end up buying like 5, 6, 7, 10, 20, whatever. Right. And then for me, like the cool part is that then you can see them like trade or not trade, but purchase, right? Like you see people purchasing them because they want this one and they want this one. I think that's kind of a cool, like, it's just a fun, like little club. And obviously I know money is the driver to raise money for stuff, but I just think it's cool. It's cool, fun. It kind of builds community. And, you know, hopefully I don't think we're going to sell 100,000 of them. Maybe we will. That would be pretty cool if we sold 100,000 of them and we raised $2.5 million. Is that what, that 25 times 100,000? I think
that
so.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I you know, what would I do with $2.5 million? I don't know. I'd have some new Eagle gloves for sure. So that's for sure. I mean, but I mean, a lot of that would go to charity. So I guess maybe, maybe just one. But other than that, I mean, it's just something fun, something different. And like I said, I want to learn. I like learning about stuff, and I think NFTs are a utility that are going to be used for really cool stuff in the future. So let's be a part of something at the front end here. That's what we're trying to do, because I think the NFTs are going to be how your concert and NHL tickets are going to be in the future, just because of the commission royalties on it. Where if a scalper buys them all, the arenas or the team or the artist are going to be able to recoup some money through that. So I think you're going to see stuff like that go into play. And I think a lot sooner than what people think. Like everyone thinks, well, NFTs are stupid. They don't hold any tangible value. But I think that you're going to see that they will actually hold value as we move forward. And this is just kind of the ground floor of NFTs, people figuring out what they can be used for and what not. So I think it's really cool.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what people said about cryptocurrency, right? Like, oh, it doesn't hold real value.
Exactly.
It'll never last. It's going away.
And listen, I'm not saying you buy a puck puppy and you'll become rich, but like, if you think about like, how many times have you punched yourself in the face because you didn't put, $500 in Bitcoin back in 2011 or $1,000, right? I mean, it's just crazy. And so, and obviously like I'm coming to it as a guy who bought or who's trying to sell the NFTs. I'm not trying to get rich or whatever. I've bought some NFTs just from other projects because I like what they're doing. Like, I just think they're cool. Yeah. And so, for me, it's just something cool being a part of kind of what's going on in technology in the future. Hopefully, there'll be something where if you keep getting involved in technology, you'll be the first one to get to live forever. That would be cool, right? So I just keep plugging away at technology.
That's okay.
Because the one thing I don't want to miss, I want to go to space. Like I want to live, or not even live. Like I want to go visit the moon. And I think that probably not in my lifetime, maybe in Cooper's lifetime, that's going to be possible. And that's why I like.
Maybe you can take your ashes to the moon.
Spread them, yeah. Because I think that's why I like technology, because I like seeing where everything's going. Like I want a flying car. I want to be the Jetsons. So they do have personal drones. We're taking collection for that. If we sell 100,000 NFTs, I'm going to buy a personal drone,
we'll buy a drone,
and we're going to fly each other around to places. Like we're going to the draft party in wherever we're at, and we'll get in the drone, and then we're back. Yeah. It's perfect.
Yeah. That way we can go hard at the party and then just drone back to the hotel.
Yeah. I mean, I think you still have to drive it, but maybe we can also get it remote controlled. Someone can remote control us back to the party. That would be fun.
Those things don't run on GPS. Like you can
Who knows?
Put in a fucking GPS and take you there.
Hey, my Mavic drone runs on GPS, and you put it inside of a fucking ice rink where I was trying to film, and that motherfucker just takes off to wherever it wants to go and crashes into the ceiling. So I don't want to do that,
Okay, that makes sense. I'm with you now.
Yeah. So other than that, all right. Anything else to add? Anything else?
Man, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah, me neither. But you can follow us over at the BLPA, all social media channels, even Pinterest. You can follow him at Beer League Jason. You can follow me at Nicker Jones on Twitter, the Nicker Jones on Instagram, and you can check out our show anywhere that you can listen to podcast. We're there. Come listen to us. We had a great month last month. We grew 30% in our downloads over the month before. So we just keep getting bigger. Keep plugging it.
It's only getting better from here.
So it is.
We're going to keep getting better every week.
Because I'm going to start bringing in beer leaguers to talk about. I have a bunch of them lined up to talk about. I've got some recordings that I'm going through where I've asked people questions about things, and I think that's going to be a fun little game. And we're going to try to do things like live shows. Like we were talking about what place, and do you think people will come listen to us live? I don't know. I think we'd have to have a show actually put together, which I think whatever, we can do that. And I think, we do it with all our friends and just have them out there chirping us, and we can bring them up and tell us about, some of their stories, and maybe we can get some, popular hockey people in the community to talk about it. And I've tried it before and it was a success. I did one in Seattle a long time ago called BLT Live, and we actually had the league gave away like some free entries into the league, and we gave away shirts and stuff. So, that stuff would be pretty cool to do, especially like at our team tournaments and that kind of stuff. So lots of stuff on the docket for 2022. And other than that, I'm glad you guys are here with us. I hope you like what we're doing. Hope you're proud of us. That's what we're trying to do, make you proud. Frank, become a VIP box guy. Cosentino, you too. Don't make us call your wives, because we will. Other than that, Jason, anything else?
We'll fucking do it.
We'll fucking do it. Anything else?
That's it, man.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Be good or be good at it.